It's me, your boy, Big Chillin'. So we're gonna start out kind of like I did the last video, for the sake of getting everyone caught up on the lunar activity. We all need to know what that fool's up to. And, yeah, in case you didn't see the last video, because that might not have been your reading, right? And you found this one. So tonight the moon is in Aquarius at 88.9% illumination. Coming out of the full moon in Capricorn, which was pretty fucking intense. I still feel like this energy, right? Like almost like like there's so much energy, and it was a little draining, I guess is the best way to put it. Like I feel almost like an energetic hangover, which is crazy because I didn't even like get crunk. Like I didn't drink that much on New Year's, not enough to have a hangover. Right? I had like a beer. So yeah. Or maybe 2. Yeah, I had like 2 beers at my dad's house. Psh, nothing, right? But yeah, and an energetic hangover is quite different. You know, it's like when there's so much energetic shifts going on, and you just kind of feel like I could just lay in bed staring at a wall and be perfectly content. That's kind of the energy I'm feeling. So let's kind of see what the energy is kind of like, how that's affecting you, you know, like how you're feeling coming out of this. Because, you know, all of us, different zodiacs and all that, we're all going to be affected quite differently. So, yeah, let's see. It's kind of a grounding energy too, you know, because I feel like it's that little reminder to get yourself in touch with the earth. And then with the very pensive energy of Aquarius right after, it's kind of like very, in your head energy, you know, like, almost makes me want to listen to that song. But, yeah, it's like, I feel that kind of deep, pensive, overthinking, perhaps, kind of energy, and that in itself can be draining, you know. So, yeah, let's see what's going on with you. Okay, fine. I will take that one too. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. Exactly what I thought. Problems? Okay, I'm just kidding. So we have the shadow self. Alright, denial, projecting, shame. We have Nephilim, controversy, assessing new perspectives, earth element. Like I said, that earth energy is really popping up. Could be an earth sign also, like Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. But this is all about survival, adaptability, reliability, consistency, right? Stability. So it kind of looks to me that you're doing some shadow work, right? And that doesn't necessarily have to mean like a bad thing, right? Sometimes doing our shadow work is just kind of like checking our own reactions, having a bit more self-awareness. Really like checking our own intentions too, you know, in regards to certain situations or thought processes. And it's like, and I do see like there's this new perspectives coming up, you know, that you're kind of diving into. So let's see. Okay. I see how it is. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna fight you back. Oh, I'm gonna fight me and let's pause this and I'm gonna come right back. And I am back. So that was fun. Anyway. So where were we? Oh yes. Talking about the shadow work, right? So there's definitely this like evolution of self happening, right? When we have to confront our shadow, it's it also, like, for me, the way I look at it is like you must do shadow work to be a light worker, right? It's in the same way that you gotta whoop your own ass to be a good martial artist, right? Like, you just got to. Chop wood, carry water, right? Like, it's tis what's tis. Any kind of developing self-discipline makes us kind of focus on where our weaknesses and faults lie, you know. We have to focus on, you know, and the more we work primarily on those aspects, the better we become overall, right? Like, for example, it's a good one. What's a good example? Like, if, say, like, leg days are your hardest days, right? If you work out or whatever. If you're like, I really fucking hate leg days, don't want to do them ever, right? But rather than, like, succumbing to your own, like, feelings about that, if you were like, you know, I'm going to actually double down on leg days, strengthen them up until it's not so crazy, you know, until it's, like, my body adapts to this and you're able to, like, work within it. Because it's, like, super hard in the beginning, right? It's like, if you, like, say if you had, like, a kid, right, for example, and you tell them to carry a whole jug of milk across the room, right, and say they're, like, 3 years old or whatever, they're gonna be, like, sliding it, they're not gonna be able to hold it, they're gonna, help, you know, but if you do it every day, and every day you're like, okay, well, you carry this gallon of milk over there. In no time, right? Like, very quickly, they're going to get to the point where they're not just carrying one. They're like, let me grab another one, right? They're carrying 2 jugs, and, you know, and it's like, sometimes we have to expose ourselves to the harder aspects of our discipline more frequently in order to be more holistically disciplined, right? Like, it's a lot harder, yeah. It sucks in the moment. You're like, why am I doing this? But then when you're carrying in 3 jugs of fucking milk and you ain't gotta stop for a breath, guess what, chicken butt, you're good, you know. And it's like, you know, we have to start out where it seems like almost the most impossible task sometimes, especially with confronting our shadows, especially with assessing new perspectives, you know. Humans have this, like, unconscious bias, right? So it's, like, cognitive dissonance, where it's, like, sometimes it's easier to just stick to the way you've always thought, or the way that you've always perceived things. You know, it's sometimes easier to be married to our opinions, rather than to look at another one, or assess a new information, or come to new conclusions about things, you know, being moldable, malleable even to, you know, new information or new experiences or whatever the fuck, you know. I actually think shadow work is, like, one of the most beautiful things. It's like, because once you really confront your shadow, you're only going to start projecting light, you know. You gotta keep that shadow in check. Very interesting. We have the Hanged Man, the Knight of Wands in reverse, and the Page of Cups. The Hanged Man talks about the obstacle, the thing that gets in the way, the thing that inhibits you from moving forward on your path. We'll draw clarifiers on these. With the Knight of Wands in reverse, the thing that you're wanting to move forward on, or it has to do with the communication, like wanting to communicate, wanting to speak to somebody, start something. With the Page of Cups, this is a love offer, right? This is like an offer coming from like your heart, your core. So, the Hanged Man is telling me that there's a reason that you're not able to do that. So, or that you weren't. So let's see, what is the Hanged Man? Seven of Cups in reverse. Feeling like you weren't an option to them, or they didn't see you as somebody, as like a potential suitor, right? And if this is not your reading, I do have other readings that are timeless. So, yeah, feel free to look at my other readings if you do not resonate with this message, because this feels very specific. Okay, so this is like feeling like you're not able to come forward and have this communication or make this offer because you don't feel like seen by this person, or you didn't, or in the recent past, if you've already reached this point, it's kind of like in the past you didn't feel like seen or acknowledged, or like they would notice you in that way. Okay, Knight of Wands in reverse. The Hermit. Rather than communicating or opening up dialogue with this person, I see you going into hermit mode. Like I said, you know where you are on this path, whether this is recent past, present, or future. With the Hermit, Virgo energy showing up. This is like having time to reflect and being kind of in solitude. It's like rather than communicating, it's kind of like just keeping your light on and being alone, you know? Because I see him holding this lantern, and it's like keeping the light on, but not necessarily moving forward with that. So, okay, Page of Cups. And we have the Magician in reverse. I want another clarifier on that. It's used as being a person of like integrity. Right, with the Three of Cups here and the Magician. It's almost like rather than coming forth and like speaking your mind or your heart on the matter, it's like you choose to not be like manipulative. You're choosing to to not try to force things into your favor, not trying to like do love spells and shit. With the Three of Cups, it's like this energy of saying, you know, I'm actually content being friends too, like if I'm not an option in that way. Why don't you think you're an option in that way? So we have the Knight of Cups in reverse. This is like, I can't ask, I can't say it, I can't bring it up, right? This is like, and I see a lot of inhibitions here, like a lot of being like, I just can't, like I have to just be content with the way that things are. You see them as the Empress, the divine feminine, right? Love is literally her shield, right? It's Aries energy too. But you're looking at this person kind of like the Queen of Queens, right? Or King of Kings, whatever, whether they're male, female, whatever. And seeing them as the Empress is seeing them as somebody who's very creative, very spiritual, very, in touch with their feminine side, you know, and not meaning like, because there's a lot of hella masculine men who are deeply in touch with their feminine side, and vice versa, hella feminine men that are not, you know, that are more in touch with their masculine side, you know, so it's like, but, so gender, it's just not the same in tarot. It's about, like, the left and right side of the brain, right? The divine feminine represents the creative side, the artistic side, the spiritual side, the imaginative, visionary side, you know, and the masculine represents, like, the analytical side, the logical, the leader, you know, the provider, the, you know, goal-oriented side. So, yeah, it's kind of like you're looking at this person like, they're the Empress. I literally cannot ask them. I literally can't even, that's what I'm seeing. And you're like, they don't even see me like that with the Seven of Cups in reverse. It's like, okay. And what I do love, though, is this Three of Cups. It's like, you know what, though? I still get to... I'm not... With the Magician in reverse, like, you don't have to create illusions. You don't have to be manipulative. You're not trying to go against somebody's will here. You know, you're just like, I'm actually content just being their friend and hanging out and celebrating with them and supporting them and loving them in the way that I can. It's like super mature and super honorable the way that this is coming off, actually. How do they feel about you? I feel like you might have known them or known of them for quite some time. With the Eight of Cups in reverse, it's like you don't want to lose them in your life. You don't want to walk away from, you know, I feel like they don't want to walk away from you. With the Queen of Wands in reverse, this is based on how they see you. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm sorry in advance. Eight of Cups in reverse tells me that they don't want to walk away, or they, you know, they appreciate your presence or whatever. They, you know, with the Queen of Wands in reverse, though, it's like either one, they feel they haven't been able to really communicate what they feel about you, or they haven't formed, like, an opinion. Or two, if they see you as the Queen of Wands in reverse, it's kind of like they see you as a bit of drama. Or, like, or they see that, like, there's a dishonesty, or maybe you're not the best communicator, you know. Anyway, maybe I shouldn't have been so bold in my questioning. But I will always be honest with you about what I'm seeing, right? Because I feel that, like, sugarcoating it doesn't help anybody, right? Okay. I honestly get the feeling, because they don't want to walk away from you. They don't think you're a bad person. I think, honestly, they just don't have a fully formed opinion to give an honest. Why is that? If you've known about them for quite some time, or you know, why is that? Why don't they know you enough to have a fully formed opinion? Oh no, they think you're drama. In case we needed a clarifier. Because it showed up with the Tower and the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, right? This could also be like an energy that they invoke in you, right? Like, they leave you feeling kind of like you missed out on the lottery. Or what's that one song? You make me feel like I've been locked out of heaven for too long. You know, that's what I'm seeing here. With the Tower, it's like I see you kind of being a little broken up about this person. A little bit kind of like crumbly about this person. And you're like, why? Why didn't that Wheel of Fortune turn in my favor? Well, don't hate me for saying this, but just because we care a whole lot about somebody doesn't mean that we're entitled to them in that way. I had to learn that lesson very hard for a very long time, okay? And honestly, one of the best lessons I ever got in life was not getting what I wanted. You know, also, like, I get the feeling that this is somebody who observes you back, right? And they see the way you fall apart when you don't get what you want. Or they see the way your energy changes or your behavior changes. And that's also going to weigh a lot on somebody's personal opinions in that way, right? Judgment is in reverse. It's not over till it's over. That's what's coming to mind. Judgment in reverse is like saying, like, a judgment hasn't really been passed on this because there hasn't actually been a communication about it. Right? It's like, until there's like a real communication about it, there's not a real... This could also mean like that they don't judge, or you don't judge them, or whatever. There's like a lack of judgment in the situation as well. And it's like, yeah, they might observe you, or you might observe them, but it's not coming from like a place of like hostility or like, man, you're drama, I don't know. It's just saying, like, the circumstances surrounding this potential connection feels like not super optimistic. And that's probably where the shadow self stuff is coming into play, you know, having to address the shadow, having to come to terms with that. You're evolving, they're evolving. Okay. What is your advice? You don't want to talk about this. They could have somebody in their life. They could be in a connection. Just looking at it from my perspective, with the King of Wands in reverse, it's like the King of Wands is the king of open communication, right? I see just such a lack of communication, right? Then we have the Hierophant showing up sideways, right? And I feel like I kind of want to keep it sideways. I kind of want to read it from that perspective, because it's kind of like seeing somebody as an equal, right? Somebody that you can learn from, but perhaps you're not growing in the same direction. Let's see. We have Two of Wands in reverse, like, which is very different from the Judgment in reverse, because the Two of Wands in reverse is like somebody is like already made up their mind in another direction, right? The Hierophant being like Taurus energy showing up here. Meanwhile, with the Seven of Pentacles, it's kind of like telling me that you have options, bro. It's like you're not lacking for options. There's still a lot. And I think that you know that. So I want to clarify this Two of Wands in reverse. Nine of Swords, this is like beating yourself up, being all up in your head, having anxiety, overthinking about this. With the Chariot in reverse, Cancer energy telling me that there's like this feeling of not being able to like move in this direction, not being able to move forward like that. Ace of Wands in reverse, yeah, not having a passionate new beginning, not being able to really open up that opportunity. With the Three of Wands, there's still this energy of waiting, right? Also, Three is a crowd, right? Three of Wands makes me think that third party kind of situation. So they could be in a relationship. You might have feelings for somebody who's in a connection. And it's almost like waiting around and being like, well, it's not my opportunity yet. But I could still, like, if this ever doesn't work out, maybe try to pursue that. That's kind of the energy I'm seeing here. But that's not really necessarily your advice here, right? With the Chariot in reverse, you're not being advised to wait around to take charge on this. It's see the situation for what it is and accept it, you know? Don't beat yourself up. Don't be all up in your head about it. Like, sometimes it just is the way that it is, you know? Alright, any last cards before I pull some Kali cards? We have the King of Cups, the Two of Cups, and the Moon in reverse. Something that has not been revealed yet, right? With the Moon in reverse, Pisces energy. Something that has not yet come to light is that, like, there's something else on the horizon for you, right? Something that is specifically yours. With the King of Cups, it's like the King of Love and swimming in those emotions, you know? Being on top of your emotions. With the Two of Cups, you know, this is union, and I see the penguins, and penguins mate for life, you know, so I think once you're able to let go of situations that don't work or aren't turning out in your favor, it really opens you up for the situations that are receptive, right? Or that you're meant to be in. So, let's see. I want to get a bit more on this. Three of Pentacles, this could be somebody that you work with. You could connect with somebody from work. This new person. Definitely different energy showing up here. Nine of Wands in reverse. I see you entering this energy or entering this connection from a place of not feeling super wounded or being, you know, gaining healing from this, feeling liberated in this connection. Yeah, with the Six of Swords, it does require you to energetically move away from the mental space that you've been in, right? Like, if you've been holding a spot for somebody, right? If you're waiting for something to happen, it's kind of like saying, like, stop waiting on the ships to come in. They could sink. Or they could stay out there. They could turn around. You know, you're waiting on something that could be futile. And with the Six of Swords, this is finally being like, okay, I'm not waiting on the futile situations. Two of Swords. This is like kind of coming to a compromise, right? And this is also like guarding your heart, protecting your heart, not allowing yourself to be hurt. Seven of Swords. This card has come up in a few different readings today, which is very interesting. It means a few different things. For one, it's a spy card, lurking, paying attention to somebody's social media, all that. That's got to stop, right? With that Two of Swords, Six of Swords, constantly trying to see what they're up to, probably not the best idea. Also, with the Seven of Swords, represents lying, cheating, stealing. So if you're in the energy of not really being fully honest, or, you know, or there's, you know, or vice versa, that's something that I think needs to be addressed. I want to clarify the Seven of Swords. Because it almost just feels like we had the Magician in reverse, right? That was this reading. Yeah, we had the Magician in reverse. So I kind of get the feeling that there's just a lot of spying or lurking or, you know, observing somebody. Maybe somebody you weren't supposed to have those kinds of feelings for. Five of Wands in reverse. This is not wanting to compete, not wanting conflict, not wanting to challenge it. There's a level of acceptance here, but there's also like a lot of being in your head about this other connection, even though I see another connection moving towards you, which is very interesting. So whatever. We're gonna grab some Kali cards, see what these cards have to say, see what the goddess has to say about all this. So yeah, there's just, I mean, although you have the King and Queen of Wands both in reverse, so there's also this energy that there could be dishonesty or just not really being open and honest about something. You know, going back to that Seven of Swords. Sometimes it's not being honest with ourselves, you know. Yeah, this is basically saying what I'm saying, so I'm going to say it. Nitya Kali. Through journeying within, you will gain energy, insight, and freedom from the constraints of what has been. Allow that which needs to end to do so. You shall realize that you are not being denied, but released. There is something new on the horizon for you. Honor your losses, but keep hope in your heart for what is meant to be. Right? So it's like, understand, like, this situation that you've been hyperfixating on could be a loss. It could be. You've been handling it very maturely for the most part. What I'm really seeing here, though, is that there's something else trying to make its way into your life, but it's not going to be able to do that if you are blinded by the unattainable. You know, that's a good one. I should write that down. But yeah, don't be blinded by the unattainable. You know, open yourself up to what is receptive and what really falls into alignment with you, you know. But anyway, this is what I have for you. Namaste. I love you guys, and I will catch you later.